Welcome to the Barker Podcast Collection.
You're after something. Is it revenge? Money? Or is it something else? You look good. A little rough around the edges, but good.
Heard about a job. Big shot gangster putting together crew.
I'm a driver, and I'm a flyer. I waited a long time for a shot like this. What do you think? Well, what do you know?
You got a line on a ship?
Yeah, I know a guy. He's the best smuggler around.
I heard a story about you. I was wondering if it's true.
Everything you've heard about me is true.
L3!
Let go of the mean man's face.
Who are these guys?
If you come with us, you're in this life for good.
You might wanna buckle up, baby.
Here they come! Let me give you some advice. Assume everyone will betray you, and you will never be disappointed.
I got a really good feeling about this.
Since when do you know how to fly?
190 years old? You look great.
Push it! So glad we took this job!
Welcome to the Not Watching Podcast. My name's Rob Howard, and today I'm joined by
Marcus Hurley.
Okay, it's been out a few weeks now, and we've kind of been trying to put it off so that we could get Ian to talk about it. But Solo, a Star Wars story, has come out, and unfortunately Ian couldn't be with us tonight. But we're going to soldier on anyway. Unfortunately, I don't think you've seen it yet, have you, Marcus?
Unfortunately not. I'm not sure what's happened with that, but yeah, I don't know. It's not that I don't like it. I just haven't got around to it, and now I'm skint. I think I pumped too much money into the other films that are going around.
Yeah, but I mean, I know a lot of other people who haven't, who I thought would have by now, and I think it's fairly indicative of the reception it's had generally. It hasn't done the business at the box office really. A lot of people are kind of mixed on it.
I kind of feel it's too soon because we've had Star Wars being a December thing now. I don't know when Rogue One came out, actually. Was that a December?
It was. This is the first one since it came back that has been in the summer.
Yeah.
So, it's a bit of an anomaly. And I'm also surprised they didn't stick with the Christmas thing because of all the merch that they normally put out.
Yeah, exactly.
There hasn't been any of that for this film. I honestly think they were just sort of testing the waters a bit. Also, the fact that they kept to their date, even though Deadpool released the week before. Yeah, I think in a way it kind of allowed them to sort of push some of the blame onto that, as well as the overall sort of appetite for the movie. So
I know, but I kind of think that sets a weird precedent because will that then affect any more Solo stories, of no pun intended, but will it affect any single story films coming out then, like the potential Obi-Wan Kenobi one, the rumoured Yoda one, and the rumoured Fett one, which they might move on to? Would that mean that they won't bother with those because they go, well, we'll just stick with the Christmas big ones, and then if we do any other after that, we'll probably milk Christmas for the next 10 years after that? I don't know. You don't know, because I would hate for it to impact potentially other projects just because they chose to market it at a bad time.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I still think they're going to do these story films, these one-offs. I mean, I'm not going to go into spoilers for Solo, but there are things in it that I thought some people have immediately gone and said like, oh, well, that's setting it up for a sequel, but I'm not sure it does really. I think that like it kind of adds things into the world that might crop up in other films. You know, they've done a lot of like the thing with the dice, you know, that's kind of like come up in lots of films, even though they look totally different to what they did in the original trilogy, apparently. But anyway, as for the film itself, I wasn't disappointed, but I wasn't really blown away either. Ron Howard's done a serviceable job of rescuing this film from the guys who were originally tasked with it, Lord and Miller. But apparently this film has been long in gestation and was actually part of the original pitch when Lucas went to sell Lucasfilm to Disney. Kasdan was very up for the idea of revisiting this character. And it's his script, and in a way it does kind of make it really authentic despite the recasting of the role. I mean, at first I was a bit uncomfortable with that because he's such an iconic and beloved character. Yeah,
and he looks so different as well a bit. He still looks like a rogue, like a sort of, scoundrel, I think is the best description of Han Solo. But he just kind of they didn't go for someone that looks exactly kind of like him or anything like that, which would have been weird, but they just went with someone who captured the feel of him, which I think is probably a better decision, because you want someone that's going to be as charismatic and just sort of like, and he kind of puts that across in the trailers. So
yeah, he's fine. To be honest, he doesn't have to do a lot really.
Just be Han Solo.
That's it. Yeah, because I mean, in a way, I think Donald Glover steals the show really as Lando. He's really good, but again, doesn't have to do loads. It's quite an ensemble cast really, and there's quite a lot going on. It's quite plot heavy. There's a lot of Western tropes in it. Including a train heist, which is in the trailer. And that's all cool. And there's a lot of cool characters that, like they might revisit in films set earlier. Tandy Newton's in there. I forget the name of her character, but she's totally badass, as she is in Westworld. Woody Harrelson's pretty cool as his sort of mentor.
He does that role quite well, doesn't he? He usually plays like a dude who's a bit grizzled, has some good comedic lines, and it's kind of a bit like it's like he found his niche in Zombieland, and it's kind of almost like I don't mind him playing that kind of role because he plays it so well, and it's kind of like he is the mentor / dude who's a bit worn, a bit weary, a bit.
Yeah. I mean, he plays
sarcastic.
it more straight down the line in this film.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, I feel like the film suffers a little from having to tick so many boxes, like how does he meet Chewie, the Kessel Run, how did he get the Falcon, all these kinds of things.
Yeah.
The Kessel Run itself, I won't lie, I sort of flaked out a bit in. I didn't find that the most exciting part of the movie by a long shot.
It wasn't as good as pod racing.
No, it actually wasn't. That's one of the bits I don't mind out of the Phantom Menace, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't really have the kind of breathtaking scope of a lot of Star Wars movies. But it's got Chewie and the Falcon, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge plays like a female droid who's trying to sort of incite some sort of robot uprising. That's quite fun little side plot.
Cool.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just think it was okay, and I feel like the box office kind of reflects that pretty accurately, to be honest.
So a bit kind of like it could have quite easily have been a really awesome Netflix movie that they put out, because the quality in a lot of those can be quite phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, if they could reach this sort of level with any kind of live action, show. That would be mind blowing. Like you'd be like, I can't believe this is on TV. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. Like I sat down and I had 2 hours of pretty much, enjoyable fun at the cinema. But I just feel like this is, a lot of people have said it's probably the least essential of all the Star Wars films. In fact, in many ways, it's kind of the direct opposite of The Last Jedi, which I feel like really pushed the boat out in terms of its storytelling and the message and the whole, and like took some liberties with a lot of the legacy characters. This one sort of is just so plays it safe. Really is kind of here. If you want Star Wars, here's some Star Wars. It's just
on a plate.
Yeah,
sort of,
exactly.
Almost like a massive budget fan film sort of thing.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that. It's very pandering, like to its audience and stuff. But yeah, like it was a couple of weeks ago now, so I am a little bit foggy on it.
Yeah.
So I don't really know if there's much more to say. If you'd seen it yourself, I think we probably could have banged on for quite some time.
I'm sure we'll revisit it when Ian joins us, and we could have a little trio circle jerk about Han Solo or whatever, and then by which time you might have seen it again or something. Who knows?
Maybe.
But I reckon. So I got the feeling because at the time that they put it out, exactly halfway into the year, that it was. I mean, the next film's not coming out this year, is it? It's next year.
Yeah, we've got like 18 months until the third part of the new core trilogy. And then the jury's out. Really, I don't know what's next.
Yeah.
I mean, I was sort of thinking the other day that that Disney might be sort of like a victim of its own success, trying to sort of set up a cinematic universe for Star Wars like they've done with Marvel. And DC have come a cropper with this by trying to do it too quickly.
Yeah.
And I feel like it might still be a bit too quick for Star Wars. Yeah. I feel like maybe Disney might like reassess it and think maybe this is like the kind of film that can only come out once a year. I mean, they ran out of the gate with like a film every year for the past 4 years. I don't blame them for doing that in the current climate where you've got like 3 superhero movies from a studio a year. Like there's probably a new superhero movie out every other month, pretty much. So I don't blame them for wanting to go that way. But I think like if you give like these films a bit of distance between one another, like every once, maybe even 2 years, I think that might preserve it and like reduce the fatigue, because I think otherwise like they're really in danger of milking it dry.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I think Disney aren't they possibly are looking at it the same way, but the problem is each Star Wars film is essentially an Avengers film. It's the event rather than the storytelling leading up to.
Yeah, that's right.
So ideally it should be spaced out as far away even as 2 years apart, or 2.5 or 3 years apart, maybe even, because the hype of knowing the next film is coming, you would easily wait 3 years. If you knew after Force Awakens episode 2 was going to be 3 years, episode 8 was going to be 3 years after that, you wouldn't go, oh my god, what are they doing? You'd be like, I can't wait. And the more you find out, you would sit and happily wait, because that's the way it is. I think they haven't realised that the Marvel films, they're designed and filmed and shot and released like comics. They're consumable. Yeah. So you go there and you consume them like they're visual comic books, which is why I think that they're a genius. Whereas Star Wars is more like it's an actual cinematic event. Each film.
Yeah, and that's the trouble, because this film just didn't really feel like an event.
It felt more like damage control. Sort of like you said, it's like, oh, people are flinching too much from Star Wars. They want more actual Star Wars that they like. This ticks all the boxes of Star Wars. Quick, release it. Which is probably why they just did it anyway, despite Deadpool being out. Because they thought, well, we need to damage control.
Yeah, that's why I really feel like they should hang on to that Christmas time slot. Because by then, I think everyone's, even though like Marvel are still spacing them out, I think by that sort of time of year, people are kind of up for a big movie of any kind. So
yeah,
it's
you
going to
end
be
the year with Star Wars. That's it. People book
Yeah,
days off work.
Yeah, that's right. And roll it into their Christmas holiday like I did last year. But I did have an obscene amount of time off last year. But yeah, I just feel like, I don't know. This year's going to be weird. There not being a film like that. I think the closest we've got to that is Poppins this year, which I don't know. Might be good if you've got a family or something.
I don't know. Alita Battle Angel space for December.
Yeah, there was trailers for that like a year ago though. That's not going to be like a big release. You know,
Yeah,
that's good.
it might be cool though. It might surprise us all. I'm hoping.
Well, yeah.
The fact that I keep
Maybe.
forgetting about it until you remind me though, that's really good.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Yeah, okay. I haven't really got anything more to say about that. So yeah, that's Solo. And that's a solo opinion on it. Thanks for listening to the Not Watching Podcast, part of the Not Listening Podcast Network, where you can also find the Not Playing Podcast, where we talk about video games, and the Not Listening Podcast, where you can hear Adam and Co talk about all kinds of nonsensical nonsense. You can email us at notwatchingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet at or follow us on Twitter at NotWatchingPod. You can find the show notes for all our shows at notlistening.co.uk, and if you like what you've heard here, please do leave us a review. Anyway, that's all for now. Until next time, see ya!
Bye.